All right, looks like we're live, everyone. So welcome to Shop Talk, powered by Booksy. I know you guys can't see me out there, but my name's Jose. I'm with the marketing team with Books, and I'm really happy for today. Just excited to have three of our ambassadors join us today and talk about standing out as merchants, connecting with your clients. I'm going to introduce them in a second, but I do want to add some general house rules. If you have any questions that you want to ask our panel today, please feel free to type into the chat box on the right-hand side. Give us a shout out, tell us where you're from, where you're tuning in from. And we look forward to chatting with you for the next hour. So on that note, I'm going to throw it over and introduce our merchants. We'll start with Sam Carter. Sam, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm from Chicago. My Instagram handle is Carter Does Hair. I am dual licensed hairstylist and barber. I've been in the industry for over a decade now, and I have my own loft in the Wicker Park neighborhood.
Great, Sam. Appreciate it. Welcome. We'll kick it over to, on my screen to the right, I got Kino. So Kino, a little bit about yourself.
How you doing? I'm Kino Valley, social media, humbly the greatest. I am have been a barber in the industry for almost 30 years now. Motivational speaker, mentor, just all around, just regular guy. I'm a regular guy.
Got it. Well, I don't know. With humbly the greatest, I don't know if you're a regular guy, but we'll go with that.
Humbly though, he's humbly the greatest.
Humble.
Well, welcome, Kino. Thanks so much for joining us. And then last but not least, Mr. Official, I don't know your real name, and maybe we shouldn't. We got to keep that on the DL.
Not at all. My name is Yahia Jabber, also known as Mr. Official. I'm also from Chicago. I've been in the business for 17 years. 2004 is when I opened up my first location. I own and operate Official Cuts Barbershop here in Chicago. I'm a licensed barber and a licensed instructor. And, I have a passion for barbering, and I'm in the process of opening up a barber college.
Congrats, man.
Nice.
Congrats. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we got collectively like almost 40 to 50 years of experience in this one room. So that's pretty awesome. Cool. Well, I think what we want to do is we had questions prior to us starting from social that was on the topic of standing out and connecting with your clients. We'll just kind of take it loose from here. Again, anybody who's joining us, feel free to ask any questions you'll have, and I can pass it along to the talent that's here with us today. But I want to know from each of you, one of the main things that we got and we hear from people is how do you all stand out amongst your colleagues and competition? So like, what are the things that you're doing to do that? Let's start with Sam, since you're at the top left-hand corner that I see.
What do I do to stand out from other people? I mean, the industry's so saturated. So technically, like, everybody can do what we do, right? But for me, it's like personality and the care that I take, the relationships I build with my clients. I have clients that I've had since beauty school. They have followed me all through the city. I think it's more than just, oh, I'm their hairstylist or I'm their barber. It's that I care about them. I've been with these people through marriages, children, divorce, death, those types of things. And I genuinely care about what's going on in their life. And I make sure that I write in Booksy, you can make private notes. So in my private notes, I make sure to write their birthdays. I make sure to write their pets' names or their babies' names or their baby mom's names, those types of things, just so I can remember and make them feel special every time that I see them, so that they know that I think about them even when they're not around, because I do. These people are my livelihood, and for me, they're my family. So I think, and then also I offer all services. So it's very rare to find a female barber in Wicker Park, but to find a cosmetologist barber. So I offer every service across the board. I specialize in extensions, but I also do hot leather shaves. So I try to cover everything. I don't ever want to be like, hey, yeah, I can do your haircut, but I can't do this, so let me pass you on.
Got it. So your specialty is really no specialty. It's everything.
That's, you know it. My specialty is no specialty.
Okay. Very cool. Love it. Kino.
I think the you know, I can kind of piggyback off what was said, is that mine is more of building relationships. We can build clientele, but I want to build good relationships. And I also have relationships I've had for, I want to say, over almost 20 years now, still cutting those same people from when they were young to now they have their own family. And not only that, I say all the time, anybody can do a haircut, but we need to get away from doing the haircuts and providing services. So I kind of changed up my service menu. I gave less choices, and then I just extended the time, because the days of grinding 40, 50 clients, I could do that, but I changed it. I said, you know what, I want to spend about an hour with each client. So I spend time with them. That way we get to interact, we get to talk about different subjects. So I think what one of the key things, besides the mustache, that makes me stand out is that I take time and care to provide service and just to build relationships with the clients. So that's something that is monumental. And then also I'm able to use a lot of different tools with Booksy to be able to interact with them. Like, a good example is when we were coming back from the pandemic, just to give them updates and things like that. So I just have a good communication with my what I call my client family.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's really important that we have, that connection that's so important to all of us and our clients, to keep engaged, and also knowing what's going on in their life. Mr. Official, you're next.
Okay. Some of the things that we've done over the years that I feel like separate us from the competition in our demographic area are just being versatile and being able to cater to all different types of textures of hair. Where Chicago, Southwest side, where I'm at, right outside of the city, can tend to be segregated in some areas, where you have the Hispanics in one area, lots, it could be African Americans in one area, Middle Eastern people in one. So we have a shop kind of central and to a lot of different areas, and we cater to all different types of textures of hair, whether it be coarse texture.
Yep. You're breaking up on us, Mr. Official.
Yeah, did we lose him?
No, he's still there.
Oh.
Well, while we wait for him to get back on and get connected, I had a question to kind of piggyback off of that last question.
Okay.
So this is when your clients are in the chair, but how are you actually standing out in finding these new clients? Like, how are you showing what you told us? Like your work, your specialties, or your everything that you're doing. How are you kind of giving that a voice? Is it on social? Is it in the profile of your Booksy app? Is it on Facebook? Where does that live? We start with. Actually, we'll kick it over to you. We'll kick it to you, Kino.
Well, it starts with social. The good thing about it is they're all linked now. I'll be honest with you. I have a Twitter account, and the Facebook, but I rarely use the Facebook and I rarely use the Twitter. I'm more of an IGer. So what I'll do is I'll connect it all there, and basically what I put onto IG will also go to Facebook and Twitter. But what people want to see on your social media, they want to see versatility. They don't want to just see haircut. In social media, people, for lack of a better way of saying it, they, to a point, live vicariously through you. So if you are experiencing a nice sunrise and they're experiencing a nice sunrise, you want to be able to give them an idea of who you are as a person, not just who you are as a barber, if you're a family man, if you're a father, if you're a husband. So it starts there. But how I am able to integrate that with Booksy is I'm able to use Booksy to also post onto my social media as well. So when they go onto my social media, it'll bring them right back to the services that I provide at Booksy, or me putting up a client review. A very big thing is the actual profile in itself. So my profile will show different photos and pictures of the different services that I provide. It'll show the atmosphere that I have in the barbershop. So social media is big, but being able to utilize Booksy in a way where I can actually make my social media easy, because maintaining social media is hard. So you can just go to Booksy, create a makeshift social media post and put it directly onto IG. So IG is big for me, and then also my Booksy profile, that's a big one to me.
All right, so social first. Cool.
Social first.
Welcome back, Mr. Official. Can you hear us?
Got the boot.
Technology, man. It's all good. It's all good. I actually was just piggybacking off the question that you were in the midst of answering with everybody in the room, and it was really finding out like how you guys are standing out, but like how are you doing that outside of clients that are sitting in the chair? How are you actually showing that to maybe new clients that those in the area that, hey, I do every ethnicity. I specialize in everything, or I specialize in one thing. Where is that for you? Kino told us that for him, it starts with social. Is that a place where it starts for you as well?
Definitely. I feel like social is a huge one, especially nowadays, because you have a greater outreach to reach out to so many different people worldwide. But also even just back fundamentally, word of mouth. We still to connect with people locally in the neighborhood is just kind of word of mouth. So you can just people, the traditional way of seeing somebody with a nice haircut, and people be like, "Hey man, who cut your hair?" Or where you get your haircut at. Is a form. And once you bring them back into the shop is where you can kind of establish that relationship. In the shop, we have, all our social media links, and, you can kind of channel everybody through the Booksy app and through your social media as well.
Very cool. So yeah, I think that's word of mouth will never go away, right? That's like kind of king. If someone has a good experience, it just spreads like rapid fire, and if they have a bad experience, same thing. So super important. Sam, what do you do?
A lot of my stuff is word of mouth. I don't do a ton of advertising just because I want to. I'm a college student right now. I run my business full time, and I'm a college student full time. I'm also a wife, and so I'm not taking on a lot of new clients all the time. So the new clients that I do take on, I really want to be interested in them, and I want them to be interested in me. So a lot of it is word of mouth. When I first started building my clientele, Instagram was huge. I'm very bad at Instagram, but I think that there's a question here about logos. So for me, I had a friend build me a logo, and if you look at any of my social, my website, my business card, everything is yellow. It's like a chartreuse yellow. That's my color. My hair is that color. Anybody who sees me or knows me thinks of yellow. So that kind of makes me stand out. I think also with social media, I tried for a long time. I ended up archiving a lot of my photos. I tried for a long time to make my page look like those big Instagram famous hairstylists. I think finding your own style and your own way of showing your work is really important. Just authentically being yourself helps bring clients to you. The clients who are looking for new hairstylists or barbers, they kind of know what they're looking for, and if you just be you, they'll find you. That's just my experience, though.
Cool. Yeah, and yeah, I think that was what you pointing out to the question that was there about the logos. It's basically that yellow is like your brand, right? And that's what everybody is kind of recognizing you. Now, I'll throw this over to Mr. Official and Kino as well. We had Chelsea asking, how important is it having a logo for your individual brand? She's been thinking about finding a graphic designer to create a specific logo to take social to the next level. Was that something you guys did as well?
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't know if you were going first.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the first thing I did, Official Cuts, kind of like the shop name, our brand. The first thing I wanted to do was create a brand, and to go a little further, just kind of like the OC, the shears, has kind of become, a trademark. We actually had a patent and trademark, but also I've had so many barbers come up from underneath Official Cuts, underneath the umbrella, like Los Cut It, who branded himself, Moody OC. So many industry leaders have came up from Official Cuts and branded themselves underneath. So branding is so important. I mean, you can still work for somebody, still be at a shop, still be at a salon, but if you don't have that logo or that brand, then you kind of just don't really. Your only identity is the shop identity. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to have your own individual identity, you definitely need your own logo and your own brand.
Yeah, I agree. I did the logo thing a while back, but I did more so of color branding because mine is also the same yellow chair that you're sitting in right now. That's actually the color that I use, yellow and black, and sometimes red. So that's very important that you find something that's different that people identify you as. The first thing that you want to understand is that you're a brand, you yourself, Chelsea, the brand, and you take it from there. Don't worry so much about as the logo is going to take your social to the next level. What's going to take it to the next level is you. My suggestion is just take good pictures, but don't always make it something. People like to be visually stimulated. So when they go to your social media, they want to see something besides just a client standing in front of a poster like this. They want to see some life, and you don't need a great camera, iPhone with the right setting, and you can have great pictures come up. So, just think about what you would like to see. Think about when you go to a social media page, what makes you stay on someone's page. If you're seeing haircut, you're not going to stay there long. But if you see a little bit of life, different things. It could be just a flower, like, if you see something visually stimulating, that's what's going to take your social media to the next level. But you just want to be consistent with it. Just as long as you're consistent with it and you stay with the same thing, despite what somebody may tell you, when you create your brand and you figure out what you want to do, you figure out who you are, stick with it, stay with it, and trust me, something's going to happen. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what, but I can promise you something's going to happen if you stay consistent.
Very cool. Yeah. So I think the consensus is brand is super important, but consistency is just as important. So stay true to your brand, right?
Stay true.
That actually makes me actually one of the things that Mr. Official said. I want to segue into a question we have from Jay Money. He's in Hawaii. And he's wondering how to build a barbershop, but you have barbers with poor work ethics and overinflated egos. I wanted to start with you, Mr. Official, not to say anybody that you have is overinflated egos, but like you said, you have a ton of guys under your mark and your brand that built their own brand. So how is it to like manage, not necessarily just all those personalities that want to create their own brand within that one space?
I think it's a great question. And real quick, before I jump into that, I just want to kind of show you, this is a pin that I have. This is my brand and my logo, Official Cuts. And I have the O and the C in there for Official Cuts. And it's just kind of just something, for anybody that's looking to make something, make a logo or something, just kind of get creative, incorporate it. And it's been 17 years since I've been pushing the brand. But as far as that's concerned, with having different barbers in the shop underneath one roof, and it's to me, I would say it's having a common goal with everyone. We are only as strong as our weakest link, and everybody knows and has heard of that saying. So if you have somebody that just came out of barber college and he's in the room with all of us, me, Kino, Sam, just people that have been doing it, like we said, a combined experience of 40 or 50 years, we're only as good as the person that just left or graduated school. So it's kind of strengthening everybody, making sure that we all have a common goal. We have a certain level of quality that needs to be put out here. It's also just kind of also sticking to the fundamental root of business, being prompt, being on time, being courteous, understanding that clients are always at the forefront, that we have to stay humble and stay grounded, regardless of how good you are, whatever accolades you've accomplished, whatever levels that you feel like you've attained or reached. At the end of the day, we're only as good as how many clients we can attract, what's our retention rate, how many clients do we have that are coming back, how many dissatisfied clients are there, because every shop has those. So it's kind of staying humble and staying grounded and, constantly communicating, if somebody can't be reached because of ego, that's not somebody that me personally, I would like to work with, because if I can't communicate with you, then I can't grow with you. So anybody that's came up from underneath Official Cuts, my shop, regardless of how far in the industry they went, there's always been that level of communication, and there's always been our feet have always, are continue and always are on the ground. So that's kind of, I would say, my 2 cents. I would say just stay humble, stay hungry, and stick to the basics.
Very cool. I want to jump real quick to Sam for the same question, because Sam I know well, and she's in a different situation. Sam's actually an independent stylist. So did that atmosphere kind of have anything to do with your decision to go off on your own?
Absolutely. I think that, especially, I can only speak to Chicago. I'm born and raised in Chicago. I've only ever lived here. I've only worked here, but I have worked in every atmosphere. I started out as a braider in a barbershop. I worked downtown in high-end salons. I worked in cool, fashionable salons. I've worked everywhere. For me, no matter how long I've been in this industry, like I started doing hair when I was a teenager. That doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I think that you get a lot of personalities and a lot of egos in this industry. And for me, I don't work that way. I think that we are greater together and we can work together in a unit and build each other up and be better. I don't think that I need to step on somebody else to get to where I want to go. I think that we can help each other get to where we both want to go. And I find that in this industry, there are a lot of people who are willing to throw others under the bus or, make talk shit about them or make them look bad or, that kind of catty high school mentality. I don't work well with that. I'm very blunt and I'm very honest, which is to a fault. Some people like it, some people don't, and I'm okay with that. But I'm very upfront about how I feel, and I want other people to be the same way. So for me, the catty negativity, I'm better than you mentality, it doesn't work. I think if you're the best, then why are you doing hair? There's never a day where I can be like, I know everything. I'm the best, I know everything, I'm better than everybody else. It's not possible. Why don't you, so for me, that's what led me to be my own independent stylist. I still work with others. I just don't work with them in the same way that, a boss works with their employees. I share a space with another artist. I work together with other artists all the time. I love to collaborate with other artists. I just think that if you take the shop out of it, it makes it a little bit more comfortable. And that's just personal.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the industry too. Is like now we have options, and everybody kind of can get in where they fit in, and be true to yourself.
Well, I'll make it short and sweet. I mean, really, to that effect, I say to J Money, set your standard and stick to your standard. Everything starts with him. If he has barbers that have poor work ethics. The only way that he has barbers that have poor work ethics is because you're allowing them to work there. So set your standard and stick to it. And trust me, the right barbers will come. A key example to this, I work in the shop, Blurry Fades, 18 barbers, Mark the Barber. I'm pretty sure everybody knows him. And when he first started with his first team, There is nobody there original from that first team. The original person that started with him just left a few months ago. So that original team that he had, it didn't last. But the team that there's now, 18 barbers, no drama, no animosity. It takes time to develop. But he stuck to his standard. He created his standard and he stuck to his standard. So that would be my suggestion to him.
Thanks, Kino. So yeah, we got a ton of questions kind of that drawn to that too. One of them you just mentioned, Kino, was Michael is having the hardest time finding new talent. So what do you find is the best way to find new barbers or stylists or whatever it might be? And I'll keep that to you, Kino.
I mean, that's a difficult thing, you know. What you have to first is, of course, see their work. You know, and right now, social media is what it is. You know, so you have to look at, you know, the type of services that you provide there, and then see if that barber actually works into it. I mean, you can always do. I mean, some barbers owners reach out to other barbers on IG. I would suggest you do that. Not if they're working at another barbershop, though. I think it's really cutthroat to try to undercut another owner by reaching out to their barbers. But if you have a great environment, one that's conducive to a multitude of people, and you have traffic, then the barbers will come. What I would tell you first, though, is everyone can cut. However, every shop that you go to, you need to know what type of services they provide in that shop. So I would just let the barbers know that come to you, say, hey, listen, I know you're a fantastic barber. However, what I need you to do is just cut the way you cut, but I need you also to learn the services that we provide, because this is what the clients here want. And if you learn that, then you'll be even more successful than you already are.
Great. So it takes a lot of work on your end as well as the owner to nurture that.
It takes patience.
Yeah. Mr. Official, since you got a pretty large staff, how do you find the best talent?
Okay, so the way I do it is to kind of cater to the barbers, right? You can't cater or give everyone the same option. And what I mean by that is, if you have somebody that comes to your door that's fresh out of school and has no following, okay, 9 out of 10 times, everybody comes in, first thing they want to know is how much is booth rent. You know, to me, it's like, okay, why do you want to jump into a booth rent if you have no clients? Okay, so to me, I'd rather structure a percentage, you know, so that way that person is, you know, working off a percentage base until they establish a clientele, until they build a clientele, you know, so that way they're not kind of committing to a booth rental right away and they have no clients. Also, that person is not really contributing to your shop because they're not bringing anybody to your shop. They're only feeding off of your clients. So I kind of structure it based on what they're bringing to the table as well. So if you have somebody who's a little more seasoned, who has a following, who understands social media, who understands marketing, who provides a value to your shop, then I would kind of get more into rental and also incentives. So one thing is also incentivizing for barbers. What makes me different than all the other 100 barbershops in the area? It's incentives. You know, giving bonuses, giving people time off or whatever it is that they may need. It's providing different incentives, incentives on selling products, incentives on hitting goals at the end of the month. So that way people will be like, okay, why should I come work for Official Cuts if I can get the chair down the street for $75 a week, or, you know, I can go over there and I don't even have to be on time or stuff like that, you know? So you kind of explain the values of working at the shop and what kind of incentives you can offer. So those are kind of some of the things that will attract people to come work for you, because you're not only, you know, it's not just a regular 9 to 5 where you're paying a rent and then you're done, or, you know, just kind of working behind a chair and then, you know, you get your cut taken out and then you're left with your percentage and that's it. So there's just different, I think incentives are a way to inspire people to come work for you, and then also growth, you know, where, you know, you can kind of go from being a barber behind a chair to an assistant manager to a manager. I have 3 barbers that worked for me that now own their own shops, on their own official cuts locations, and so on and so forth. So just in providing incentives and the opportunities to grow within the shop are always an attractive way for somebody that's looking to work to be like, okay, so this is not just me working behind the chair. I can have different options when I reach certain levels working under this brand.
Great answer, man. Yeah, I think it covers a lot here. I think there are some questions about like shops being governed and owned by quote unquote slumlords. And it probably is those that are looking for just money and not really giving anything back in regards to, you know, educating, growth potential, et cetera. So it just really dropping gems here. So thanks so much. I have there's been a lot of questions about social. I know we kind of covered it briefly because it's such an important topic. Want to go back to social one quick minute here. And Rachel was asking, what are some ways to spruce your social media up in a different way? She's looking for a more inspirational way to do it. So I'm assuming she's looking for something that's not the standard. What do you think would be some unique ways to spruce up your page that is current? Let's start, Sam. Throw it over to you to the left.
I'm so bad at Instagram. You know
That's
this.
an easy one, Sam.
I think the difference that for me on social media is that I use my stories a lot. My feed is just hair, but my stories, I like to include little tidbits about my personal life. So if you look at my highlight reels, I'm 32 years old and I have braces, and I think it's hilarious. So I have a highlight reel on my Instagram of my braces and like my journey with braces. I'm a pet mom, so I have a reel with pictures of my cat, adventures. I like to travel a lot. So, you know, giving people a little bit of taste of who you are, I find makes you a little bit more personable. Because social media can be so cold and so curated that you don't really know who these people are, right? So I give people just a little taste of how weird I am in real life, and that's, you know, enticing to them. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think that you said it perfectly. A lot of these pages are highly curated, and it's hard to tell the difference between all the blondes and brunettes and all that, outside of like the personality behind it and the person who's, you know, behind the work. So I think that's a really cool way to do it.
yeah.
Kino, any tips from you?
Well, I mean, if they want to draw attention to their page, your page just needs to have some versatility to it. I'll tell you one of the probably quickest ways that people will come to your page is if they're receiving something from it. You need to be giving them something, and they need to be receiving something, which is why they come back. So what I would tell you is dip a little bit into the education. So if you do color, show color. You don't need to show the whole thing. Whatever you do, don't show the person with no color and then go color. Don't do that. Give people an idea of how they're going to do the color, how they're going to set the color. Give a person an idea of how they're going to blend, how they're going to fade. So now they know that not only can I go there and I can see great work, but I can actually, they don't want to just see your great work. They want to know how to do your great work. So if you give them a taste of this is how you do it, then they'll continually come back to the page. So you need to also think about what other stylists want to see, but also what do your clients want to see? And mesh those two worlds together. Put a little bit of your personality in there, something that you don't want, that you want to give away, that you don't want to give away, but if you do, it'll make you more personable, and then you'll see some growth in your social media. But just be consistent. Don't post like once every 2 months. You need to be consistent with what you're posting.
I'm terrible.
Consistency is key. Yeah, in general.
You have to.
Yeah, Mr. Official, anything on that? On your social page?
Yeah, I've seen, because I've kind of rode the roller coaster with my social media and kind of seen what works best as far as gaining followers. And to piggyback off what Kino said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. right? That's kind of like when I'm on it, when I'm on my social media, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you got to figure right now we're in a time of, social media. Everybody has their device in their hand, their phone, their tablet, whatever the case may be. And the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, when you're in the bathroom, sitting on the John or whatever the case may be, you're checking your feed, seeing what everybody, what everybody do last night, what everybody do, where's everybody at, right? That's your breakfast post, right? So the first thing you do, you hit your morning post. So whatever information or whatever you want anybody to see, get that early one out. And then the lunch, you got to figure when everybody's on their lunch break, right? 12, 1 o'clock, 1:32, in between that time, everybody's back on their social media, just checking in real quick. That's a good time to post. And then the evening, and then again, your evening, obviously, when everybody's getting home, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock is another good time to post. Obviously, check your insights. Your insights will provide all when your peak times are to post. But I say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One good thing that has worked for me too, to kind of switch it up a little bit, add a little bit of flavor to your IG or your Facebook or whatever social media platform, is to collaborate with people, right? And get in with some people local in your neighborhood. It's a great way to connect with people, a great way to showcase your talent and somebody else's. For example, like somebody like Sam who does color, who's a cosmetologist, a hairstylist, who does those things that I have no idea how to do, would be a great way for me. That would be a great collaboration for me to network with Sam, find a guy that has some nice hair, longer hair. She could probably throw a pop of color in there or whatever, and I can go in there and just kind of blaze the beard, and collab with her on that. And that'll get our social medias popping, and then also share our following. So that way, all my following is kind of like, okay, Sam is dope. What an awesome hairdresser, and they're following her and vice versa. So that's another way that you can kind of cross connect following.
I'm gonna have to text you. We'll set something up.
For sure, I'm down.
Love it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, man. That's an awesome.
Breakfast,
I'm gonna have to make a T-shirt out of that one.
Right.
Make sure to trademark that one too. Yeah, you send the logo over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also you probably want to make sure to, I believe if it was Rachel, that what is your goal? Is it followers or clients? That's another thing too. What is the goal of your social media? If it's client, your followers should somewhat become your clients. So make sure you put that book now, Booksy plug right there. Sorry. But great question. Thanks guys for all the answers. Let's see what else we got. About in regards to incentives, or actually I want to jump in. This is probably more towards barbers real quick. This is a big topic, especially now COVID has kind of changed things, but what ideas can you give to switch from walk-ins to appointments? That's a pretty hard one. I know it's a little easier now with COVID going on with appointments only, but when this goes away, those that have gotten really comfortable with just dealing with walk-ins and can't really transition or get their clients to make appointments, what have you guys done to make that transition easier? I don't know if it's easy or not, but Mr. Official, what I'm assuming in Chicago, there's walk-in business was pretty, prevalent pre-COVID.
It still is. To be honest with you, we still get a lot of people that come in. We try to switch everybody over to appointments, and the quickest way is Booksy, the QR code. Even though you have somebody come in, or what we do. I've worked with Tucker and a couple people in the staff with Booksy. They're very helpful, and we have the Booksy iPad set up where we have one blank staffer, you can kind of say. So we add like an employee and we call them staffer, and anybody that walks in, we just kind of have them set up their Booksy with the QR code, and then we plug their name into that standby list, but then we just kind of assign them to people. So that way we just kind of put their names into whoever's first available slot, and then to them we can tell them, hey, go ahead, go get some lunch, go wash your car, go do whatever you got to do, come back, and then, your time is set for this time, if that works for you. And what that does is it just kind of, because a lot of people think it's complicated or they don't really know how to set an appointment with the technology, because we have a lot of old-fashioned people that still like call or think they just need to pop in. So when you do that for them and show them how easy the app is to use, it's just like, wow, it blows them away. And that seems to have worked for us tremendously.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the QR code. I don't think a lot of people know that, but Booksy, actually, you can create a unique QR code that will actually link up with your shop, that you can print on business cards, you can put on a shelf talk or whatever it is, and they can easily just scan that QR code on the phone and take them directly to your page. So
Yeah.
that's
Honestly,
like kind of like a hidden gem.
Hidden gem, and then we have it right in the door, right when you walk in. When we read your temperature, we have the hand sanitizer and everything, kind of like our, the reception desk area right there. The QR code sits right there, so anybody can just kind of boom, take the picture, and they're good to go.
Love it. Kino, how do you make that? How did you make that transition? I don't know your history with the shop, but how did that work for you?
Well, I mean, the transition is kind of what Mr. Fisher was talking about. Is you kind of leave them with little choice, and let them know that this is the way that they have to book. Don't get me wrong. You have some that are older that, they're just not technologically sound, so you could do it for them. But what I try to do is I navigate them through it and just show them how simple it is. And then I also make sure to let them know that it gives them a level of control, because that's what they, some of my clients, were fearful of is, well, I mean, I'm not in control of everything. You're in control. I said, no, you're in control of everything. You look here, you see what time you want, you see the slot, and you just pick your slot. If there's, if you need to rebook, or, there's a way that you can do it that way. So once they see the advantages of it, that they have their specific slot just for them, and see how easy it is to navigate it, then I don't have any issues. Don't get me wrong. You're always going to have to make room for a walk-in. If somebody does walk in and then they want to book with me again, then I just explain to them, hey, this is my information. You can book me anytime you want, just by using this, by using the Booksy link. It's really easy to understand, and whatever time is available there, you could pick it. And I always tell them, if you see something that's not there that you want, then you just give me a call and we'll see if we can make arrangements. But you just basically just walk them down and say, hey, listen, this is the best way to book, not only for me, but for you as well. And they generally take hold of it.
So to kind of draw a line in the sand and just that's how things work. Yeah. Sam, is that something what you kind of, I know you're independent in the suites. Is it, that's the only way they can book you?
Yeah. So I did, like, when I was working behind the chair for other people, I started out as just a walk-in service, and that's how I built a clientele. When I originally switched from working at a barbershop to working at a hair salon and focusing, when I brought my male clientele over, it was hard for them because they were used to just being able to pop in and out whenever. So I made it an incentive for them. If they pre-booked their appointment, I would give them a complimentary cleanup. And that's how I started. And then, that got them on a regular routine. And so now they always pre-book. It's like second nature for them to pre-book their next appointment. So it was, I think I felt more uncomfortable with it than it actually was. It's just a matter of remembering to be like, hey, don't forget to book your appointment. I also I don't have time to reply to people's text messages the same as I used to. So if they want an appointment, they're going to have to try and book it themselves.
Perfect. Very cool. So I want to jump to communicating with clients and how you guys do that. So in regards to if you guys, for holidays, whatever it might be, if changing of hours, especially with COVID again, all these new restrictions, and we went down and shut down, how were you guys reaching out to clients? Like, what was the easiest and best way for you to communicate with them and to keep up that communication? I'm going to kick it to Kino.
This is probably one of the greatest, there's many things, probably one of the greatest things that Booksy came up with was just all the marketing tools that they had. when I first came back, and I wasn't one who jumped back into the shop because I was, I have a family. My wife is a nurse. I had to be careful. So just to come back into the shop and then to see, well, how am I going to let my clients know that I'm in the shop? How am I going to let my clients know that I'm social distancing? How am I going to let my clients know that, that it's safe and that my environment is clean? Well, Booksy pre-arranged all of that. So all I had to do is let them know, pre-arranged message, we're socially distant. Yes, wear a mask when you come in. Wait in your car, and then I can text you and let you know when to come in. So, to be able to use those tools with Booksy to inform my clients that I was back in the shop, that it was a clean environment, and the days that I was there and any changes, that was just epic. I didn't have to go and talk to each and every person and let them know what I was doing. All I had to do is just go to the predetermined message, send it out to all of my clients all at one time, and then they knew. Also being able to, send, just on another note, if it's, a price drop, I can tell them that there's a price drop. If there's times that I'm not going to be in the shop, I can inform them there. So I was able to communicate literally with all my clients at one time through Booksy. And also, you have the ability to also, I would say, reach out to them also, by phone or by text message, just to let them know, just to see how they're doing. But as far as your business is concerned, I utilize the Booksy tools with marketing to relate and communicate with all my clients, and it did wonders.
Yeah, as a marketing guy, when I was ever in the field, those marketing tools are game changers. The fact that you can kind of customize everything to the brand to make it on brand is really cool, and that you can simply send it from your cell phone is just pretty awesome. It was like the first place I went to when I'd have to show off what the app could do, just because it's just so easy to use, and you can reach so many people with one button and you're there. Mr. Official, similar scenario for yourself as well, or do you have some other ways of reaching out to your clients and marketing?
Sir, it's made my life so much easier at the shop. Communicating same way as Kino said, the Booksy marketing tools, and then just obviously just post it on the window, on a door, for any new clients or new potential people that are coming. We just kind of have like a little message board area. If anything is going on, we'll print something out and stick it on the door and just let people know what's going on, especially now because so many changes. I mean, Chicago, Sam will tell you, I mean, we just had the restaurants and bars and stuff got shut down again for indoor dining this past week or so. So, again, just kind of being conscious of, obviously, Booksy helps you communicate with all the clients that you do have. Social media, obviously, with potential clients, and then just to post it on the door for any new clients that just maybe stopping in or popping in.
Awesome. Sam, same
yeah.
thing?
Message blast. Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
It's a great tool. And on that note, you were mentioning COVID. Ricardo had a question about the new changes, new rules and regulations for COVID constantly changing. What are some of the ways you guys are keeping people in their seats, in your seats, and still coming that might be hesitant to going out of their house? What are you implementing? What are you implementing in the shop? Also, what's the language that you're using? Kino, what do you got?
Well, I mean, you do have some clients that are really, really concerned. I'll give you an example. I have a client who's a doctor. He's seen this thing firsthand, and he's a little worried. He takes it very seriously. So what I do is I make early appointments available to him. I generally start at a certain time. I generally start around 10 a.m. and I'll set up some early appointments, leave some slots that aren't open, and I'll reach out to those specific clients that I know that want that service, and then I'll leave those slots open for them. So if I wanted to start at 8:30, then I could book an 8:30, at 9, and a 9:30, and then start my day at 10 just to be able to service them. On another note, really, really big with putting new clients is Booksy Boost. That has done wonders for me as well, because don't get me wrong. I mean, we have to still do basics. We still have to pound the pavement. But if you have tools, why not use them? So if your profile can be boosted, and then you're receiving clients simply off of that, then I'm gonna see if I can actually pull up. That is actually okay. Like right now, I'm looking at. I don't know if you can see that, but let's see. You can't. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So, my 10 clients that I received, 18 different visits, how much money that I've made off of that. So to be able, and those are repeat clients. So, that was something that helped me as well. So being able to make available times for those clients, and then also making sure that you promote your Booksy Boost worked wonders for me.
It's a great tool. I think it's misunderstood. A lot of people think that it automatically will bring new clients to you. It takes a little bit of work.
It takes some work.
Yeah, it helps you get discovered, but make sure that your profiles are looking up to par with great pictures of your work, your space, yourself, et cetera. So, but it's a great tool. What's going on your end, Sam, in regards to the same question, COVID, making clients comfortable?
I think pretty much the same as Kino. I do have a client, like one specific client, her and her son. She wants to come, but she's afraid. So I make sure she's my first client of the day. I put a gap after her so that she doesn't overlap with anybody else. I'm trying to be as accommodating as possible. Times are weird, and I want to be as understanding as I possibly can. It's also a little bit easier for me because I am in a more private space, so it's just me and one other girl. I can go in on days where it's just me in the studio and be more accommodating in that way. I make sure to have hand sanitizer ready. I have extra masks for people. I have hand soap, all kinds of things like that. And then, I always email, text message, any client who has any concerns or anything like that. I do have a cancellation policy, but due to COVID, if it's COVID related for a cancellation, I'm very lenient on that. Just trying to be as understanding and as, I think, gentle with people in this situation is really important.
It's great info. Mr. Official?
Up all our PPE, just like everybody else. I mean, we have the dividers in between the stations. Even when we went into phase 4 here in Chicago with the waiting area, allowing us to have people back in the waiting area, we still kept the waiting area closed. We still asked people to wait in their cars or outside of the shop, just to minimize people inside of the shop, which a lot of people really appreciated. I have a company that comes out. I found the guy, one of our clients at the shop, that comes and he does the fogging and the sanitizing. He comes once a month. We disinfect and sanitize the whole shop, fogs and everything. I always capture it and put it on my stories, share it with my clients so that way they can see. We have a professional company that comes out. I mean, we do all our PPE in between clients. We wipe down all surfaces. Again, the plastic dividers were a big one. You just got to let people feel, if people come in and they see that you're doing your part and you're taking it seriously, it gives them a sense of comfort, as long as you're, just like you walking into a place of business. If you see that they're doing their part and they're taking it seriously, and it's not just, oh yeah, whatever, everybody's kind of, blowing this virus out of proportion. If you don't have that kind of, regardless of how you feel about it, as long as you're sensitive to what people are respecting their opinions and the severity of it, because let's be real, a lot of people lost, family members, close family, friends to it. So as long as you're doing your part as a business, I think it provides a sense of comfort to your clients.
Great answers, guys, man. Thanks for all the info. We only got 5 minutes left, so with that 5 minutes, I kind of want to throw it to you guys. What do you guys think is what's next? I know we're kind of like in limbo, not really knowing exactly what we're doing. So for each of you, how are you kind of taking that into account? Like, are you thinking? What's your thought process? I don't want to assume one thing or another from each of you. So we'll go back around, starting with Mr. Official. Like, what's currently going on with you, and what's next moving into the new year, into kind of the unknown. But
for me, I think what's unknown is unknown. Nobody really knows where this is headed. But for me, I just feel like, just stay positive and focus on, whatever it is that you were doing, try to deal with and balance everything as best as possible. For me, like I mentioned before, I'm getting into the educational aspect of it. I've done platform work, and I'm a brand ambassador, obviously, for Booksy and a couple of other companies. And I've traveled the world doing education, and I love it. It's my passion. So I said I wanted to open up a school and be able to provide, all my life's work and experiences in a school. So 2021 Official Cuts Academy will be my main focus.
Congratulations, man. Can't
That's
wait
awesome.
to check it out.
Thank you.
Kino, what's up for you for going into 2021?
Well, I mean, I've been, on this ride for quite some time, so this, I'll be honest with you, this whole shutdown and virus taught me something, that, I'll always be a barber. I'm never going to stop cutting hair, but another one of my focus is just creating different streams of income, and it's not always dealing with the barber industry. Right now the medical industry is big. There are some other things that are out there that are opportunities for growth. So what I'm doing is just figuring out how I can get my hands in those arenas, and grow different avenues of income. So at the end of the day, after it's all done, I can open up 3 barbershops, and those barbershops are going to be for each one of my sons. So that's my main goal. The shops are not for me. It's for Caleb, Joshua, and Isaiah. And then that's my focus. Awesome.
Yeah, I think we're all like reassessing different plans and what's going on. And if you can find additional revenue streams that align, take advantage. Yeah. Sam, 2021 plans. I know it's been a crazy year for all of us.
Yeah. So I decided to go back to school, and I'm in college right now for mortuary science, actually. So I plan to obviously stay in the hair world. I'll do hair for as long as my body will allow me. But being unemployed for 3 months really set me back mentally. I wasn't prepared for that. I've had a job since I was 13. So just doing what I'm doing now, just rolling with the punches, taking day to day, but also getting an education so that I can have something else to do as well.
Yeah, so staying positive, still having that plan B and C if necessary. At the end of the day, I think we're all confident we'll come out of this, better on the other end. Especially if you're prepared. So looks like we're coming to end. I want to thank you guys for your wealth of knowledge, for joining us. You guys are the best. Booksy rocks. You guys are awesome part of it. So thank you so much for giving back to our community. Thank you to all of those who joined and had a ton of really great questions. We'll be doing more shop talks, and hopefully we'll have the same team coming through and doing some more of these through the next few months. But feel free to join us and check out our social media pages. Also, I want to give a chance to our panel to share their IG handles one more time. Sam, your Carter period does hair, correct?
Yeah.
So check out Carter. Mr. Official, I don't have yours off top of mind. What's your handle?
Mr. Official, one word. And the shop is Official Cuts, one word. At Official Cuts, at Mr. Official.
Got it. And then Kino, yours is at Humbly the Greatest, right?
At Humbly the Greatest. There you go.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. You have a wonderful evening, and I'll be checking with you soon. Yes.
Appreciate you guys.
You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Thanks. Yo, my man, I'll see you
later.
Bye.
All right.